Hello, welcome to Foxy Roxy Reviews. Today we'll cover the topic of transgender dating. In this video I thought it would be quite interesting to touch a couple of key topics regarding transgender dating, because I think there's some things I think are important. And I think one of the things I think it is really important when you do go out on a date is you keep yourself safe. And I know it sounds a really kind of basic topic to cover, but I do think it is relevant here because I've had some instances where people have tried to approach me in a very forceful manner that I didn't necessarily want, and I've heard of other stories where other people have had similar issues, people wanting certain things and they not feeling comfortable about them. So they might seem common sense, but I thought it was worth covering them again anyway, just touching base more than anything else here. So kind of number one is making sure you have, if you're meeting someone for the first time, it's a nice public environment, so you can see people around you and you can get to the exits if you need to, so you don't feel trapped at all. And the second is to make sure someone is aware of what you're doing as well, whether it's going to be on Facebook or whether it's be by telephone. It might sound really old school now, but someone giving you a call sometimes to check on you're okay might not be a bad idea. And I'm just saying, just make sure people are in the loop. And if you find someone's trying to isolate you from your friends, that's usually a bad sign. I know some people who've actually got into a trap of that and actually become worse for the wear because of that. So those are a few very basic tips I would have for how to date safe. The second topic I really wanted to touch base on, I must admit, the more I think about this topic, the more I think it needs its own series as opposed to just a video, is about intimacy. Because I think a lot of the time I think people can assume certain things about what they would want rather than what you might necessarily feel comfortable with. I think it's important to have a dialogue regarding that. Or sometimes you feel that you can fit certain social niches that necessarily you might identify with. So I think, to be honest, it's very important to have an open dialogue with someone. And if someone is not very receptive to that, I think that's something you just need to be made aware of, because I think sometimes it's you can get some people in a community or going chasing after a community that are trying to meet a certain fetish or niche. I'm not saying necessarily they're bad people, but I think you have to be aware of that to keep yourself safe if that's not what you feel comfortable with as well. So I think having a form of open dialogue and what you feel comfortable with is important. And again, for someone who's dating someone who is trans, to not make that assumption that, oh no, they're happy with this, they're not happy with this, or whatever, because that can be a very sensitive issue. Some people, for example, maybe don't want to have any intimacy before any sort of medical transition, and some people maybe are more open about some sort of intimacy before maybe going through something more complete, or maybe even they identify as someone who doesn't want physical surgery but are uncomfortable with certain things. So I think that is always very important to have communication regarding those topics. And the last topic to cover is vicarious transphobia. And I must admit, some people that I've dated in the past have had issues with this before, and other people have had issues even now, is that people are aware they're dating someone who is trans and actually either have transphobia or the same inappropriate questions that maybe a trans person might experience, or a combination of those, or maybe feel under pressure regarding certain things. I think that is very important. So I think especially for a partner of someone who is trans, it's also important to support them as well, because not just you as an individual that might have transphobia, it might well be a partner or a friend. I know I've had that before as well, when friends of mine have actually had transphobic comments or something that's happened to them. And I think that is just be very aware of that, and also bear in mind is make sure that if these events do happen, that they are recorded as well. So so the authorities are aware. You don't even have to kind of go to the police to say what's happened. All you can do is you can just do it anonymously. But like say for Wales and different bits and pieces for whatever part of the country you're in, I think it's really important that these things are notified, because sometimes I don't think the issues are as recorded and as fully captured as they need to be. But as always, I think that this probably will become a bigger series than just this one episode. I definitely have a lot more ideas for this one. But any thoughts and ideas for future episodes would be really cool. And as always, please subscribe.